All right, I'm going to get started right now. I am at National Intelligence University. It's through the gate that I stupidly tried to go in behind me, and then I realized probably not for me. I should turn around right now. Now, this is the school that the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, announced was going to end, that the students would be transferred to other universities as part of ODNI 2.0. And it's not just this campus. There's also a campus at Fort Mead at the NSA, also at the FBI in Quantico. There are campus locations in Molesworth in the UK, as well as locations in Germany. And these are for students who are in the government, in the military. They need to have a TS SCI clearance, super high clearance, and it is funded by the government. The school dates back to 1962. It was developed inside the Defense Intelligence Agency. And since then, it has had so many different names, I truly couldn't tell you all of them. Former CIA Chief of Staff Larry Pfeiffer told me this about the school. Quote, "The most unique thing about NIU is it's the only university that offers undergraduate and graduate programs that allow for classified work with classified classes and students writing classified papers, all the way up to the highest levels of classification." And this is also where former CIA Director General Michael Hayden went, graduated in 1980. Many others also went here. Now, Larry and another source who did not want to be named, but who was very familiar with this school, told me that the last graduating class was bigger than any other that they could remember, and that there was so much diversity, meaning people came from different agencies inside the government, that there was a lot of diversity there. Now, Larry says that the CIA doesn't see this as the preferred school. They tend to train within, and for graduate programs, it's things like Harvard's Pfeiffer Center, Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, as well as Georgetown's National Security Program. This could also be partially because this was a program that was started inside the Defense Intel Agency, and there could be some tension and competitiveness of going to another place that's institutionalized from that. This other source told me when I asked about the value of this university, quote, 100% there were cases where students' theses were used to change procedures or organizational processes. That had actual change. And this person was talking about areas of intelligence gathering and analysis. The person said that people were really surprised when Gabbard's announcement came in. Oh, I'm hoping that you guys can hear me because it says my connection isn't stable. Let me know if you are not hearing me, or let me know if you are hearing me so I can keep going here. But so after Gabbard's statement came out, people were very surprised. And there was a second statement that went out on a classified system that had more information in it. Oh, good. You can hear me. Yay. So second statement comes out, which gave more details about how National Intelligence University would be transferred to National Defense University, which is the Defense Department's. And this person saw a few issues here that I want to lay out for you. Number one, that the SCIF, the Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility to consume highly classified information inside the National Defense University, this person said, was, quote, a little larger than my living room, that it doesn't compare to what NIU has. At NIU, you could bring a case officer inside. They could talk about current classified information, give examples in real time. And if you were to do something like this, it would not be possible at NDU. It could take about 2 years to build a SCIF, and they don't have the space on the campus, this person said. Number two, there are also foreign students at National Defense University. Are all of these students from allied countries? I'm not sure. But what I can say is that a quick Google search showed me that back in 2014, Chinese students from the People's Liberation Army's own National Defense University visited NDU. That was back in 2014. There's also an open question of whether students who graduate after June, part-time, full-time, but especially the part-time students, whether this will still be funded by the government and whether their credits will transfer to other universities, say, if they weren't necessarily going to National Defense University. The other question, of course, is what happens to the professors, the adjunct, the full-time, and what about the staff that support? Because NDU has its own staff of administrators. They wouldn't necessarily have jobs in those places. The funding question, of course, is something that plays into the shutdown. What's going to happen here? How long is the shutdown going to occur? Congress will ultimately need to give authorization and appropriations to the National Defense University under the National Defense Authorization Act for all of this to happen. And when will that happen? Will that happen? There's been some rejiggering in the past where they basically had to switch the authority from the National Intelligence Authorization Act to the National Defense Authorization Act. Man, a lot of words using authorization in there. But what this person emphasized to me was that NIU's potential is remarkable, but it needs to be embraced. And I don't think that's ever really happened, except to prepare military officers for their ongoing roles. This person talked about how the university, in one of its latest moves from 2021, moved from the Defense Intel Agency to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. This was in the Biden years, and that the school was not embraced, that it was treated as an appendage. So it never really integrated with the ODNI, and that was causing some problems even back then. And the school also has some critics, people like the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Tom Cotton, who did not respond, by the way, to my request for comment on this. But essentially, it's my understanding that critics believe that this school doesn't need to exist because there are other programs. The government doesn't need to be funding this particular school to train students for the intelligence community. But this source had this to say: I think it's a shame for the students. It's obviously a blow to the faculty and staff who've been through a tremendous amount over the last 10 years. The university has gone through a huge amount of change that in some ways, the continuation of graduating students is just an amazing accomplishment, despite COVID, a physical move, and multiple presidents. The question of whether or not the community sees value in NIU is demonstrated by the applicant numbers. People keep applying. They must see value or they wouldn't apply. There's a very small population that is required to attend, but everyone else is coming because they want to. If this is the demise of the institution, it's a loss for the community and the students. So when we talk about the intelligence community, you have to also think about some of these educational places and the fact that the students and the staff, all of that hangs in the balance. Looks like there are some cool comments coming in right now. I can't really, okay, yeah. I'm wondering if I should answer any of them. But I think I'm going to leave it here for right now. Thank you for watching this video. And please consider becoming a paid subscriber if you can. That way I'll keep being able to drive out to these locations, turn around awkwardly in parking lots, keep bringing you this reporting. All right, have a great weekend, you guys.